Hello, hello, my crafty friends. Oops, I think. Okay, we'll try this again. Now I have volume, so you guys can hear me. Waiting for myself to come up. So we're going to do a part 2 on using our stamps that have the cling or red rubber. And I got a couple sets out here. We'll keep working with the mixed labels, which is going to come out. You can tell I like this one. And then I have these butterflies from Sketch Butterflies. The Sketch Butterflies tend to be ones that I really like the style of the sketching on the images, and I've been a fan of it for quite some time, and actually have a number of the people sketches. They just look really neat to me. Not kind of realistic, but not like solidly realistic. Then I have my winter tree tops. So in this first one, I showed you how to use the negative images to create the space in here to do your stamping. And this time we are going to do something a little different, and I do highly recommend that you have scratch paper. I just take scrap copy paper and reuse it and have one. In this case, stamping on scrap paper first is always beneficial. I have my Memento ink. For no particular reason, I have the Memento ink. And one of the things I can tell you about stamping with rubber is you don't need to have the cushion like you have on the acrylic. I do still season it. This is a stamp set that I've had and wanted to play with for quite some time, so done a little bit with it, but not as much as I'd like. So grabbing my stamp paper or my scratch paper first, I'm going to stamp and just make sure these come out, and then I'll put it on my cardstock. So we may get back to using this, we may not. We'll see. So we're going to set that over here to the side so I have a little bit more room here. Okay. So here I am on my scratch paper. That's a good image. Hey Connie, you're back. And then sometimes on these bigger stamps, it's easier to stamp pad this way with the little. Not so sure you could do this well, but bigger stamps I tend to do that. Let's see how this comes out. Good. And you can see that you get a really nice, crisp, clean image. And that is one of the differences between stamping with cling versus stamping with photopolymer acrylic stamps or clear stamps, because they're just a different material. So they hold the dink. You keep scrolling as I come on again. All right, so I've got that down. I'm going to show you. This is where we stamp and then die cut. Now, I have started doing this more than what I used to do, solely because the stamp dies from Stampin' Up! Have a smaller margin, which has its benefits and or advantages and disadvantages around the stamped image. So it's really hard, particularly with the cling, where you're not completely seeing where you're going, to be able to accurately get into the center of the die cut. So I really have kind of swung around, even though I swore I wasn't going to lining them up and using washi tape to tack it down to hold it in place. You tried which way, this way or the stamp on the dies already cut out? I was off a little bit with the close to my heart ones. I'm really off with the Stampin' Up! Ones. And I like to have a clean margin. So I'm going to tape that. I'm going to try and make sure that I don't have any of my washi tape on the outside of, yeah. So here we go. A little bit like that. And again, grab two. Now, this is not the best tape to use because a washi tape tends to be pretty sticky, which is why I'm putting it on my skin to kind of break it up a little bit. Oftentimes, I will leave my washi on the dies when I put them back because you can, I mean, use it again and again. All right, so that's done. We'll put that away. Pull this over. And my sandwich. I'm using a magnetic plate. I like my magnetic plate underneath because it does tend to hold the stamps down or the dies down without moving. Sorry, this will be a little loud. Hold on. How's your week going, Connie? Okay, I'm back. I muted myself for a second there. And we put this off and, you know, gently pull that washi tape away. And there's your birds cut out. And they're on. You can see that. So this is one way to do the stamping. The next way to do clear or the stamping with the cling where you can't see where you're going, and sometimes your dies aren't going to cut out super great. I really almost needed a second one for this. I don't think I have any of these that will like fit into one of these. Maybe this one. That's a pretty good one because I think this is too big. Oh, maybe, oh, that's nice. See, I get excited over simple things, you guys. Nope, that's too big. All right, so we'll use that one. So here we go, where I am going to stamp on top of the die cut image. I do a much better job when it's with words than I do with shapes because there's more of a margin of error. I'm probably not going to give up my close to my heart. And you fuzzy, oh, so you, yeah, you're also struggling with them, not, yeah. So it takes, I think stamping and then taping down the die cut is a saving grace. So here I am going to center that. And there you go. I almost think that looks better than my other ones I did. But if I were to, well, let's see how I can do on that. Let's do a dry run here. Those birds are really super cute, you guys. So come back on tomorrow and we'll probably play with all this stuff that I'm stamping up. Just because I was going to grab one that I know will be challenging for me. So here is my recommendation for this. So we have this nice banner. Even Catty Wonkus, it needs a bigger block. Oh no. Uh-oh. So we'll need bigger than a 3x3. Let me step backwards into my office of blocks real quick. I didn't realize I was going to need a larger block like this. Our long block that is 2 inches by 6.5 should work. Just don't normally use them a lot. So grabbing this banner, and now this is one I've cut out ahead of time. Need to make sure that I have it matched up and not on the seam. The seam will be bad. And this is where I get in trouble because I can't see my space, which is why I use my MISTI and the reverse. But we'll try it. We'll see what happens. The worst is it's going to sink, and well, that's nothing new. I do suggest that you have it on a contrasting background. Don't try to do this on white. White on white is really hard to even begin to get lined up. So lining up my stamp right over the image, the die cut. Not great. Not super bad, but not super great. So these kind of things, I definitely use my MISTI. I just think it's more reliable than me. My ability to do that. Another quick solution, going back to, freehanding, is to do squares on certain things. So like with our birds here that we have done, we have this piece of paper here. I know how big the bird is, right? I'll get rid of this. I need my cutting. My 12-inch cutter. I have so much stamps all over the place, guys. It's like a Christmas lot in here. I never know I brought that back. All right, so I'll have to get one of my other cutters to do this. Piece of paper. Have my stamps on here. I know that this is a cute little guy, and I need one that's about minimally 2x3. And if I want to put a sentiment underneath it, I really should do like a 3x3. Does that make sense? So I'm using my grid paper to figure out how I want to, or how big it should be. Sorry guys, I'm scanning for my 12-inch cutter. I should not be short a 12-inch cutter because I have like 20 of them. All right, well, shoot. This is what happens when you're doing school projects in the middle of the night. So we're going to do a 3-inch. And of course, it's really easy to match 3 inches, because we all kind of know what that's going to be. Here's my piece. And I want to put my sentiment on the bottom, and I want to just say, thinking of you always. I can always use that stamp. I love the font on this. And stamp this on my scratch paper. Yep. Now, when you stamp onto this, you're not trying to get it perfect. You're just trying to get it into here. This lines up pretty good. I have a little too much ink on it, but it looks okay. Stamp my little cute bird. I have lots of friends who like birds, so this is kind of a cute stamp. And then you could look at that and think, you know, I actually could get away with trimming that down a little bit. Sometimes I find when you're going to trim down things at the chopper, you know what I'm talking about? You know, this little cute thing that we often crop our pictures with. You have a lot of room on that. So I come in and I do a lot of eyeballing. You just fussy cut everything. Yeah, when we get used to clear stamps, I think you kind of get a little spoiled and you lose that. I don't know, so this is like 2.5 by 3. And then to mat it, you just grab a piece of your cardstock and you go up 1/4 inch is what I would do. So that would be 3 inches by 3 1/4 inches, and the 2 3/4 inch. And then you'll be able to mat that. So I am known to use my rubber stamps in the easiest way possible. One is to die cut it, or to stamp it and then die cut it, like stamp on a larger piece of paper, or do the die cutting and then use a MISTI or a stamp positioner that allows you to line up where it's going to stamp all the time, so that you're always putting that die cut. Or even like something like this, you could put it into here, get it figured out so that you have it perfectly positioned and go to town. So it's really useful when you're doing multiples. So there's that. So let's do this one more time with our cute little butterflies. They are so beautiful, you guys. You can see that I like them. I'm gonna need a bigger block. Oh my gosh, you guys. Trying to think. I know I generally have like 2 large blocks out here for this. Huh. Maybe somebody in my family has used them. Let's see if this one will fit. Cattywampus. Not quite the right. Oh my gosh. Look at me go here. Aha. That'll work. Now, I have learned my lesson with this one, and I definitely stamp that onto the paper, then do the die cutting. So very detailed. You would not be able to get a clear image or as detailed in your acrylic or clear stamps. It just wouldn't come out right. So there's one. Isn't that just stunning? It looks like I sketched it out, you know. It's not perfect, but it's beautiful. And then I have a larger butterfly. I'm going to run a die cut machine. So do you tape it down, Connie, when you run it through the die cut machine? Just out of curiosity. And I have this butterfly, and I'm just going to tape these down. I just love it. Die would be so proud of me. You do tape it down and you're still struggling with that. So we have to think about, I'm not always perfect either. I admit that I struggle. I haven't decided if the lack of margin is good or bad. I definitely did better with the close to my heart ones. I definitely looked like I was more in the lines. So what I try to do is make sure that my image looks the same as I go around it. These with their little antennas make great ways to put this down. You see what I'm doing here? Yeah, the blue tape works good. Okay. I just found I wasn't using my washi tape for tons of things. So I was like, I need to use this up somehow. I'm so happy with that. And then I have this little cute flying butterfly. Ooh, that looks pretty close the first time I put it down. It does make sense why people would choose to do a little other things. So I'm going to make my sandwich here. Got my cutting plate, my base. Line it up. Oh, I don't cut two at a time for dies when I do it this way. That is something I do not do. So maybe stick with cutting one of them. I only do the two at a time when I'm cutting out pieces that do not have any stamping on them. I agree. It's very difficult. Oh, look at how beautiful. That is about as perfect as you're going to get. There you go. So that is how I do stamping and then die cutting for the ones that have the die cuts. And then you can fussy cut, or you can, you know, measure out your stamp like I showed you how to. We can do another one of those really quick because I have the butterfly stamped up. So let's say I'm going to do something like that simply because I have my cute little butterflies. But I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. Let's see if this will fit in the... Just barely fits. I'll cut off. Wow, that's tight. But it works. Good thing is I've got 4 inches. So let's stamp our big butterfly. Or did I clean and put them up? I did clean and put them in the way. Oh my gosh, Di would be so impressed with me. If you take this off of here and you put it down on your mat for measuring purposes, I can see that I need minimally 3.5. And it looks like I need to have about 2.5. If it's an arm day, yeah. Yes, that's true. So there's my 3.5. and he's in there. Last one for tonight. Nice smooth ink. Now if you feel like your ink is starting to get dry, you can do what they call huffing on it, which is simply to bring it up and breathe onto the ink, and your breath will moisten the ink. So that's really super cute. And I really like the You're Pretty Wonderful. I just think that's a pretty saying. I don't think I've seen it around. Or Your Kindness Makes My Day. What do you think? I think Your Kindness Makes My Day is kind of cool. This is where giving yourself a little bit of room and kind of doing some backwards math here. I hear you on the arm day. For me, it's an elbow thing. I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to put that one tail of that butterfly. Oops, that's too much ink on that. You can see it's a little off, but put that on there. I like the way that looks though. And then I can come back in with my cutter, and I actually do this more than I care to admit. Doing the eyeball thing and not actually measuring, so get my broad measurement. You can always cut down. You can't make more paper. I'm kind of looking at how much space I have between the antennas and the top, and that's how I did that. So I have a cute little butterfly here, and so it's 3 3/4 by just I hate it when I do this, so 3 1/4 by 4 8 5/8, and I'll have to have another piece of paper because oh no, I won't. So here's the other way I cheat. I'm hoping I don't have all my so I'm in the house trying desperately to finish the projects I have started for Christmas presents, all the kits put together. And some folks are getting their kits to do themselves because they're pretty crafty, and I am running out of time. And again, I'm just eyeballing that measurement. And so we have that. Now, a very cute thing to do with this would be to take this butterfly that we did there and to put them down over the top and allow some dimensions. So we might do that tomorrow. We'll see. That's a great way to add some 3D dimension to this without having to do fussy cutting or a lot of work. All right. So hopefully these cling stamps, they seem to be a challenge, but as we kind of work our way through some ideas about how to stamp best with them, you guys will be able to appreciate them more. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.